what happened to former standouts, how every first round pick performed, but the real question, how did the league's best players perform in the NBA Summer League? And the results just might shock you. Let's start by going back to 2003, the greatest prospect of all time, the #1 overall pick to the Cavaliers, coming straight out of high school, LeBron James. Now, the NBA didn't run an official Summer League back in 2003. That wouldn't come till the following season. The Summer League LeBron played in was actually the Reebok Pro League, where a few teams would play over the course of a week at the University of Massachusetts. This 2003 Summer League was actually the first one to be nationally televised, uncoincidentally coinciding with LeBron's arrival to the league. And even despite the immense hype surrounding LeBron, nationally televised only meant NBA TV, not primetime ESPN slots like we've come accustomed to for the debuts of the top picks. At this time, close to zero stock was put into this Summer League, even for a player like LeBron James. The sports media had spent the last 2 years hyping up a high schooler unlike any athlete we had ever seen at that age. All that mattered was some impressive plays and some highlights to keep the hype train rolling. LeBron delivered on that front, but didn't necessarily dominate, at least compared to most expectations. Now, Summer League stats before 2004 aren't super reliable. I spent way too long looking for LeBron stats, as early on I ran into some contradicting ones. From what I gathered, the most reliable of the sources report that he averaged 15.8 points, 7.3 rebounds, and 4.3 assists. The more shaky part is the efficiency. 36.9% is the most common field goal percentage I found, but take that with a grain of salt. 3-point percentage seems to be non-existent. Pretty solid box score numbers overall, but not earth-shattering, especially if that's actually his Summer League efficiency. With LeBron being by far the oldest current All-Star, we jump forward to Kevin Durant's Summer League from 2007. At this point in the history of the Summer League, it wasn't mostly concentrated to one city like we see today. The small Summer Leagues we still have before Las Vegas, such as Sacramento and Utah. That's what made up the Summer League back when Durant came into the league. He would play just one game as a rookie, where he put up an impressive 29 points, but he paired that with just a rebound and no assists. In this 29-point performance, he actually made only 7 of his 21 shots and 1 of his 5 threes. He got to 29 points primarily from the free throw line, where he would go 14 for 15. Now, his efficiency back then was not a topic of conversation. He just pulled off one of the most efficient freshman seasons in college history. What mattered was seeing Kevin Durant confident with the ball in his hands, showing off that wing skill set the league had never seen to this degree from a player at that height. In his singular game, that was on display. The next jump is 2009, where we actually see 3 current All-Stars, headlined by Stephen Curry. Well, at least today. Curry was one of the most polar prospects we've ever seen. He was a thin, college star, rarely jumping over a foot off the ground. This fueled a lot of talking head hate, but for everyone in that camp, there was someone that believed his unprecedented shooting ability made him the real deal. This 2009 Summer League was going to be the first citable evidence since Curry's mid-major college days in this heated debate. And the evidence mostly supported the doubters. Curry played 5 games where he averaged 17, 5, and 4, but he shot less than 33% from the field, 35% from 3, and also had 3.6 turnovers and 4.2 fouls a game. Sure, the talent was impressive and was on full display, but that was really never a question with Curry. There was no one defending his defense, few were defending his playmaking. A successful Summer League in terms of public perception was going to be efficient scoring production. He didn't deliver on that. Just a couple spots after Curry, the Toronto Raptors selected high-flying USC 2 guard DeMar DeRozan. He would put together a really respectable run. 17 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, and doing that shooting 49% from the field. The 3-point shooting wasn't great, but unlike Curry, whose stock was dependent on it, no one was expecting much from DeRozan in that regard. In fact, it would go on to be one of his biggest struggles throughout his entire career. At the top of the draft, the first guard to come off the board was Arizona State's James Harden, who actually played 9 games during the 2009 Summer League and probably had the most impressive run we've talked about so far. He averaged 14.7 points while shooting over 50% from the field and nearly 38% from 3. A really impressive outing, but still by no means a direct indication he would go on to be a future MVP. Drew Holiday was also selected in 2009, but the 76ers didn't participate in the Summer League at this point in time. So we go to 2010, where we've got Paul George, someone fresh off being the 10th overall pick to the Indiana Pacers. His Summer League was pretty much as bad as it gets. He averaged 15, 8, and 2. That doesn't look all that bad. But he shot 33% from the field, 11% from 3, taking over 5 a game, 4.8 turnovers, and 4.4 personal fouls. By far, the worst Summer League we've seen so far in this video. Interestingly, He didn't get off to a crazy start in his career, less than 8 points a game as a rookie. Let's keep tabs on that and see if we can find any kind of correlation. We didn't get to see either Kyrie or Kawhi Leonard in the summer of 2011 as the NBA was in a lockout. In 2012 though, we would see one of the best rookie summer league runs ever. It wasn't from the consensus #1 overall pick Anthony Davis. He was actually playing with the United States national team in the Olympics. It was the 6th overall pick to the Blazers from a small program in Weber State, Damian Lillard. In his 4 summer league games, he would average nearly 27 points, 5 rebounds and 4 assists, shooting 38% from 3. As time goes on, Lillard might be looked back at as one of the most slept-on prospects in the history of the game, despite still being a top 6 pick. This is someone coming off a senior season, averaging 25, 5, and 4, shooting 41% from 3. This wasn't just some breakout season either. As a sophomore, he was averaging 24 and 5, shooting 39% from 3. Small program or not, these numbers are ridiculous. There hasn't been a stage in Lillard's career where he hasn't dominated. He puts together one of the best summer league runs we've ever seen. He then wins Rookie of the Year. By year 2, he's an all-star. Then jumping ahead a decade, an argument can be made that he's coming off the best season of his career in which he averaged 32, 7, and 5 on incredible efficiency. How can you not be excited to finally see him on a contender? Then we reached 2014. Embiid was injured. He wouldn't actually make his debut for another 2 years. But we did see Knicks All-Star Julius Randle. At this time, he was fresh off a national championship appearance and being the 7th overall pick to the Lakers. His summer league wasn't notable whatsoever. He averaged less than 13 points and 4 rebounds, shooting just 42% from the field. Now, Nikola Jokic was also selected in this draft, going in the 2nd round to the Nuggets, but he actually stayed another year in Serbia and made his summer league debut in 2015. Today, he cemented himself as one, if not the best player in the league, coming off back-to-back MVPs and most recently an NBA title. But back in 2015, this Nuggets 2nd round pick was close to completely unknown. His summer league didn't change that. He averaged 8 points, 6.2 rebounds, 1.4 assists, shooting 46% from the field and 29% from 3. Who would have thought that player right there would go on to do what he's done? In 2015, we also saw the Suns' recent selection, Devin Booker, and based on what we've seen so far in this video, put together one of the better summer leagues of this group. He averaged 15 and 5, shooting 40% from 3. Jumping to 2016, we have Jokic's current co-star, the Nuggets' 7th overall pick that season, Jamal Murray, someone that definitely wasn't afraid to get shots up in the summer league. He was averaging 25 and 2. He shot just 43% from the field and 20% from 3, but with how little summer league stats are paid attention to, especially at this time, it definitely felt like Murray was dominating out there. A few spots ahead of him in the draft was the 3rd overall pick to the Celtics, Jalen Brown. Murray was impressive but inefficient. Brown took the ladder to the next level. He averaged 16, 6, and 1, shooting 33% from the field and 21% from 3. Yeah, that's not great. Now, to be fair, I'm not sure anyone was expecting much efficiency. He had just shot with 43-29 splits as a freshman at Cal. Most of his draft stock at this time came from his physical profile, defense, and potential on the offensive end. Now, remember I said keep tabs on that potential correlation between Brown, who averaged less than 7 as a rookie, and Damian Lillard, who would go on to win Rookie of the Year. A correlation between summer league success and immediate league success seems to be shaping up decently. We also had Pascal Siakam in 2016, but he didn't even get through his first summer league game before suffering an injury that shut him down. We also had Domantas Sabonis, who didn't play. So now we go to 2017, where we actually have 4 current All-Stars. The highest selection of the bunch is Jason Tatum. His summer league didn't really feature much surprise nor disappointment. He averaged 18 and 9, shooting with 45-33 splits. Given the context being established, a respectable run, but one that didn't get much coverage. Most of the attention that season was focused on Lonzo Ball, Kyle Kuzma, and the Los Angeles Lakers. But one of the few that actually stole away a little attention was Donovan Mitchell, someone that shot just 40% from the field and 31% from 3. Obviously not great, but no one was talking about that. The sentiment around Donovan Mitchell in his summer league was nothing but positive. No one was expecting this. He averaged over 20 points a game, 28 in Las Vegas. No one looked at him as a high-volume scorer coming out of the draft, especially immediately. But from day one, he was playing with an unworldly confidence, filling up the highlight reel, flying out of the gym, and hitting step-back jumpers. Interestingly, without a Ben Simmons injury, he would have been the Rookie of the Year. The correlation seems to be strengthening. We also had first-time All-Star this season, De'Aaron Fox, in that 2017 class. His summer league was nothing notable. 12 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 44% from the field, and 13% from 3. His college teammate Bam Adebayo would go to the Heat at the end of the lottery. Offensively, it wasn't anything crazy, 17-8, shooting 38% from the field, but he was already showing off that potential to be the elite defender he would go on to be. Now, someone who objectively just had a terrible summer league that year, no other way to put it, is Lauri Markkanen. He averaged 14-9, but shot, and hear this, 29% from the field and 24% from 3. Oof. This performance luckily really wasn't even a strong indicator of what we would go on to see from him even as a rookie. Now we reach the 2018 class where we've got 3 All-Stars, but we would only see 2 out there. Luka Doncic was there, he wasn't hurt, but his existing contract with Real Madrid was still yet to be bought out, keeping him off the summer league court. I can only imagine what he would have done. But the player that was involved in that draft night trade that brought Luka to Dallas, he was out there, Atlanta's Trey Young. He had some impressive moments, but a lot more ugly ones. He averaged 15-6, shooting 30% from the field and 27% from 3. Likely worse numbers than even Lauri Markkanen, considering we had over double the sample size of games for Young. Now this was a pretty solid indicator of what we would see to start his career. The first half of his rookie season was rough to say the least. The emotional roller coaster that Hawks fans have been on since this selection is a wild one. The lows of seeing Luka and Trey start to the highs of going all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals in just Trey Young's 3rd season, to this weird middle ground position we see them in today. The player sandwich between Trey and Luka in the draft was the Grizzlies selection and reigning Defensive Player of the Year, Jaren Jackson Jr., someone that put together by all accounts a great summer league. He averaged 13-7, shooting 50% from 3, and actually on pretty decent volume. He was also already showing signs of the defensive player he would go on to become, sending back over 3 shots a game. Another impressive summer league came from the Los Angeles Clippers rookie, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He averaged 19-5-4, over 2 steals and a block, shooting 46% from the field. Now that's actually all the current All-Stars that have played in the summer league. There's Zion, who didn't make it past his first game but dominated his brief time. Ja didn't play in the summer league. We also had both Anthony Edwards and Tyrese Halliburton, both of which were drafted in 2020, a year we didn't have a summer league due to the pandemic. So to increase our sample size and negate injuries to a degree, let's add in some more names in descending order from the Ringer's ranked player list to keep things objective, as I'm not trying to make a top players list video. Jalen Brunson put up an incredibly inefficient 7 points a game. He shot just 22.7% from the field. Ridiculous. Brandon Ingram averaged 12 on 41-25 splits. The number 1 pick in 2015, Karl Anthony Towns, averaged 12-7, shooting less than 40% from the field and over 6 fouls a game. Bradley Beal averaged 18-5, shooting with 42-30 splits. Our last addition to the pool is Mikal Bridges, who averaged just 6 points, but on great 45-44 splits. That brings us to a nice number of 25 players to get a solid representation of the best players in the league. So what does the average NBA star average in the summer league? 15.6 points, 5 rebounds, 2.3 assists, shooting 39.5% from the field, and 29% from 3. But now let's really put it into context. From our previous video, I took the averages of the entire first round from this most recent draft. That comes out to 13.7 points, 5.1 rebounds, 3.1 assists, shooting just over 40% from the field, and 32% from 3. So yes, the stars averaged just around 2 more points, but the rookies this season actually shot with slightly better efficiency. I gotta say, these were not the results I was expecting from going through all this summer league data over the last few videos. One conclusion is pretty clear. Now keep in mind, this is mainly just from a statistical standpoint. No one has the time, nor do I think full summer league game exists for years like 03 and 09. But right now, there seems to be close to no correlation between summer league performance as a rookie and long-term NBA success. There does seem to be some minor correlation between summer league success and immediate success, but still far from a reliable predictor. For every all-star like Damian Lillard who looks unstoppable, there's a Lauri Markkanen who looks like a bust from day one.